up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is another Cortex Labs quick nootropics clip. Everything we put out on this channel is brought to you by a couple nootropic products. Number one, we have a stack. It is called Cortex, powerful nootropic stack in the eyes of our users. Focus, motivation, mood, productive drive, verbal fluency, brain fluidity. Coupon code 5, F-I-V-E, gets you Cortex for 28 bucks a bottle right now. Do that at livecortex.com. If you need my help personally, we have a consulting service. It's a 40-minute call, 15 follow-up email correspondences. It's custom stack formulation from me. Buy that at livecortex.com. If you're new to Nootropics, two products, either Smarter, Better, Faster, which is a digital book that teaches you everything about nootropics. From my perspective, at that point, I was like 9 years in when I wrote that book. Or the Nootropic Starter Pack, which is Smarter, Better, Faster, digital Smarter, Better, Faster, plus a bottle of our stack Cortex. Get all that stuff at livecortex.com. Okay, topic of today's quick nootropics clip is the experimentation process to find out stacks that work. Okay, how that works is you develop, either from scouring Reddit or being consulted by a specialist on it, you develop 5 stacks you want to try. The aim of that experimentation with those 5 stacks is to, the ultimate goal is to get 5 stacks that work really well for particular things that you can set aside out of the experimentation reservoir and put them in the I know this works for me reservoir. And then for 6 months to a year, because nootropics make changes in neurotransmitters, and the same stack won't work for more than a year usually. Your brain kind of changes. For 6 months to a year, you have an aniracetam stack that you figured out that works really well, that you can pull on and take anytime you want for the brain function that it gives you. It's like me, I have a list of stacks. I mean, there's got to be 500 or something of them that I just know will work at this time. That list was different a year ago. List was different a year ago before that. It varies. It's not too different, but it's different. The major point I want to make, though, through that experimentation process, and this is where people go wrong, and that's the point of this video, I think this will help a lot of people out, is what they do is they scour Reddit or they scour Facebook nootropics groups, and they develop themselves 5 stacks or so, 6 stacks, whatever, and they're going to try those stacks. And what they do is they'll take stack number 1, which is an aniracetam-centric stack, at 10 a.m. on Monday, and then stack number 2, which is an alcar phenylpiracetam choline stack or something, they'll take it that same day at like 2 p.m. And then they'll analyze the results at like 4 or 5 p.m. or just look at it at the end of the day. That's a big mistake because you haven't given yourself enough time to see how one stack works. You cannot muddy the waters. Here's what you do, and here's what we suggest to consulting clients, and here's what really works if you want to find stacks that work and stacks that work on a schedule. You take your aniracetam stack, 700 milligrams aniracetam, 100 milligrams alpha GPC, 100 milligrams theacrine, 100 milligrams theanine, and some caffeine, right? That's your theoretical good stack that you want to see works. Eventually, you'll have to work the doses up and down if it doesn't work the right way, but that's for another video. You take that for 2 to 3 days straight. Don't take any other nootropics. Don't take many other supplements, with the exception maybe B complex and fish oil, or magnesium or something, but nothing hardcore, nothing like tyrosine, no protein drinks that have a bunch of amino acids, some of which are nootropics, none of that stuff. You take that for 2 or 3 days straight. You notate in a book or somewhere on the web exactly how it affected you. Here was the doses, here's how I felt. You take that data, you put it aside. Then day number 3 or 4, after you've taken a stack for 2 or 3 days, you take stack number 2 that you theorize would be good, a template, and you try that for 2 or 3 days with no other stacks. So say it's an alcar theacrine choline stack. You take your 500 milligrams alcar, 100 milligrams theacrine, 100 milligrams CDP choline. You do that for 2 or 3 days straight. You notate how it affects you. You put that aside, move on to stack 3, and you do that until you get to stack 5 and you've depleted it. I know it's a little bit of a monotonous, long process, but let me just be clear, that is the only way you can find nootropics, take them out of the experimentation reservoir and into I know this works reservoir, and use them when you want to use them thereafter. Because what you do thereafter, when you have all the notes on each of those nootropic stacks, is you come back and look at the first one again on the next week. Okay, the aniracetam stack, here's how it affected me. Then you can modify the aniracetam dose a little bit, modify the choline dose a little bit, modify the theacrine dose a little bit, and then try it again. Take it for 2 days. See, okay, you've made progress now. Set that aside, move on to the next stack. Do that same thing, 2 to 3 days, notate everything, change doses if you have to from your reports on the first time you took that stack for 2 to 3 days, and then set it aside. Now you've evolved that stack, and sometimes it might take a month or maybe a little bit more of that process to get things so refined that stuff is in the reservoir and you're like, I need verbal fluency for the speech coming up. Like stack number A, I've got it. I know how it works. It's super predictable. I'm just gonna take that. Okay, so the biggest takeaway is don't muddy the waters when you're trying new stacks to figure out a schedule for you. Take it for 2 to 3 days by itself. Do that process of revisiting each stack. You're just going in a circle, modifying doses, then setting it aside. You're making progress. You do not make progress on stacks that are gonna stick overnight. You don't do it in a day or two. You'd be lucky to take a stack initially and it's the perfect stack for you. You have to understand that process, okay? Thanks so much for watching. Remember, everything we put on this channel is brought to you by a couple products. Number one, we have a stack. It is called Cortex. Powerful Nootropic Stack. Coupon code FIVE gets you Cortex for $28 at livecortex.com. Right now, if you need my help personally on this stuff, we have a consulting service that is custom stack formulation. We work with you in exactly this capacity. Buy that at livecortex.com. And if you're new to Nootropics, 2 products, either Smarter, Better, Faster, a digital book I wrote for people that are new, teaches you nootropics, or the Nootropic Starter Pack, which is Smarter, Better, Faster, plus a bottle of our stack, Cortex. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you next time.